How you doing, guys? Professor EC with another BLADE-OSOPHY Sunday, and this is going to be a long one, and this is going to be a very spiny, a very delicate topic, I think. This topic I have thought about for quite some time now, and the other day I watched a video by Ben Peterson, you know Ben, from Knafs company, and he asked the question, should YouTubers design knives? And this was, I believe he heard a conversation between a knife designer, a well-known knife designer, and someone else, mentioning that he didn't like YouTubers designing knives. And I can totally get that. But let's dive into the why. I totally get that. And this is going to perhaps the ideas that I expose here are going to step on some toes. This is not personal with anyone, but it's I'm taking it from the experience that I have in the knife world, handling many knives, as you know, and but also from ideas from very well established thinkers and philosophers talking about ethics and talking about philosophy and aesthetics and art, real art. So, and a little bit about economics, right? So, according to what Ben said and what he mentioned already about the story of this knife designer, he doesn't mention the name, but anyways, I think it's a great question. But rather than should YouTubers design knives, because then it is very commonly thrown out there, this BS of open market and capitalism, and just trying to mix a whole lot of things with very simple topics. So this is not a matter of free market, open market, or capitalism or anything like that, because that's everywhere. That's in China, that's in Russia, that's in the US, that's in Mexico, that's just everywhere. So, in different forms. That's just the thing that we gotta understand. It's worldwide, but it's in different forms according to the culture of each country, which, by the way, that should not disappear. We each have our own cultures. And that's something, that's identity. That's something that each culture, each country should keep and guard. So, apart from that, I think that the question is all wrong. It's not a matter if knife designers or if YouTubers should design knives or not. Who are we to say, or who's anyone to limit another person into designing something, into creating something? But rather, I think the question is perhaps, are they worth it? Are these designs by YouTubers worth it? Are they good pieces of collection? And I will say just straight up, from what I see in most cases, no, I don't think so. They may be great users, they may be great folders, great knives, but they're not really particularly, they're not good collection pieces, at least not for me, not from where I'm standing, not where I'm taking into consideration the philosophy of aesthetics and art, and just trying to guide myself with some of those parameters. And again, let's not confuse a good tool, a functioning tool, something that is very functional, with a collectible, with something worth having a piece of our collection. Now, this all gets kind of mixed up with the YouTube world, with something that I dislike very much, and that is the word influencer. It's not only that I don't like it, I dislike profoundly that word and what it means. Because in order for anyone to be an influencer, that means that it has to have people that are willing to be influenced. So, and that's something I just don't like. I like to think on my own. I like to think by myself. I like to arrive to my own ideas. Of course, we are going to have teachers along the way, people whose ideas will influence us, of course. But also, and as I have always mentioned, we gotta be careful as to which information we are absorbing. It is very different to, think of an entertainer than to think of a person who might have a more balanced point of view, like Nick Shabazz, like Pete from Cedric and Ada. In the case of, I trust Nick Shabazz, and also having his background as a scientist. Pete, a pretty good user of folders and knives, and etc., etc. There are those voices out there that combine this good taste. I will come back to this term over and over, good taste, and also the part of experimenting, of using a folder or a knife. Otherwise, coming back to influencers, I have mentioned this before, these influencers, in its majority, they're a cancer for society, from my point of view, not only from my point of view, but from thinkers and philosophers and people who know much more than myself, And there are many reasons for that, but I'm not going to go into that. However, what makes a knife worthy of being in a collection? We live in a society where consumerism or consumerism is just out of hand, where we believe that happiness equals buying stuff. And the more we buy, the more happy we are. And we may have a knife, a folder that we have just bought, and we are fascinated by it, and we're going to barely start to use it, and then 2 days later, a week later, another thing arrives, and we totally forgot about that fantastic knife that we had purchased. And we tend to overlook these type of things. So, should YouTubers design? Of course. Who is anyone to say to limit another human being? Of course. And But the thing is, and this I have spoken in my Wednesdays lives, talking about generic knives and how the market is just flooded and has been flooded with generic knives. All of the folders nowadays are pretty good overall, but that doesn't mean that that it's a knife worth having in a collection of more taste. Now, a lot of people may disagree. That's okay. But we have forgotten, a lot of people have forgotten or deny that terminology, good taste. Something that can be educated, something that can be acquired, structured, if we study. So there can be an evolution, and I will mention a couple of examples, and I will take starting with Ben Peterson. I never liked the banter, and you know that I've always mentioned that. I like Ben a lot. He's a great guy, but in terms of design, I've never liked the banter. I would never buy one. Might be a great user, but that's it. And then came the what's it called? The Lander. The Lander is I think it's a better design, and it's very similar to the K-Bar Dozier, another great budget knife that is still around. But the Lander is much more expensive than the Dozier. Nevertheless, it comes with this great idea that Ben had, giving the pattern in order to print the handle material. So that's a plus on that. But and of course there are the minis and the extra large of the banter, of the Lander. I don't know how many generations there are between there. But then came along something rather interesting for me, and that was the Lulu. Although it's, for my experience, it's a rather expensive knife for the size and everything. The Lulu is a very interesting knife. I think we can see an evolution there when talking about Ben. But we see that evolution, right? Who knows? I might be able to catch a Lulu further ahead in the future. But I still think for the price, there's a lot of competition out there, and pretty good competition. So also Orion knives. Orion knives is from a YouTuber, David, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember which is his YouTube channel, but anyways, you see his first model, the Solaris, and it's, it's a like the banter. It's just something that didn't attract me, something that it's rather generic for me, and came another one. It was the Scorpion, I think. I don't remember, but then came along the Cetus, and the Cetus is a rather interesting design. So you see the evolution there. These from people that we know that are in YouTube. Ben from what's the brand? Oh, I remember. I don't usually mention that brand, because they don't ship to Mexico, so no need to promote them. Anyways, you see an evolution in these two guys, but talking about generics, I will say that we just have needles in haystacks, right? There is a lot, the market is flooded with generic knives, whether they are from YouTubers or not. Nothing against no one, but I see nothing special. Of course, I can't see everything out there, but from what I'm able to see, it's just that. And we have to ask ourselves the question, what does the industry want in this case? Well, of course, they want money. And that's okay, that's how the world works, right? But let's go step by step. What do these YouTubers want? Of course, they're gonna want money. It's okay. Everyone is making their own, trying to make their own business, right? And I'm gonna, just eye candy to show you some of these awesome, gorgeous designs. So the industry wants money. The tubers want money. But what do buyers, what do consumers want? We want more for our money. We want more design. We want more quality, fit and finish, right? We want more aesthetics, original aesthetics. And in that sense, I understand a designer or a knife maker that has been at it, that have been studying and working their butts off for decades, who have gone outdoors and used their knives and designed. Here we have a collaboration, and you will see that all here, what's on the table, they are all collaborations. Chris Tanner, another YouTuber, and LT Wright. This thing is absolutely gorgeous and a pleasure to use. This would be custom pucco. A proven design over, hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. Dmitry Sienkiewicz and Spyderco creating this beautiful design, just gorgeous, a great user, but also the design is just fantastic. The Drunken collaboration between Dmitry Sienkiewicz and Spyderco, Custom Knife Factory, and don't tell me, it just slipped my mind. Philippe Georget. There we go. What a design. But we have experience on both sides. And here we have Hinder XM18, Hinder design. Of course, this is no collaboration. Just Rick Hinder design. But how long did it take Rick to have the quality of the XM18 as it is now? It took him years, decades even, right? Same as Chris Reeves, same as Mick Strider. They have earned their place in the industry. And then we have this beautiful design, Brad Sinker and Boker. What a beautiful, beautiful design this is. As simple as it may look, it's just amazing. Collaboration between Brian Nadeau, one of the best designers out there, and Riyadh. This is one of my favorite folders, if not the favorite. Then we have a family a family company that started with the father. And now the sons working together, brothers and their families working together to make this company what it is. Arnaud Bernard, Imamba. It's just so much quality. You know, that's what I was talking about. What do we want as consumers, as collectors, as enthusiasts, and as users? We want more for our money. And I'm not saying we want more for less, but we want more for our money, for what we're paying. And that's what we're getting here. Same here. I don't remember the name of the Red Horse Knife Works. What's Kim Young, I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard the story, his story from Dirk Werning, and you know how it all started and how this came to be. Of course, Dirk having, I think, the best collection of the Hellraiser, and of course I got my Hellraiser because of Dirk. But what a fantastic design this is. All around, and the quality, it's just gorgeous. And then another collaboration, thinking of, what was it, this brand, Superlative. Enrique Peña, Javi Garcia, and Jared Ozer, together with Riyadh, making these designs. This is the Comanche. Look at that. Slip joint. So, in all of these cases, we got people that have taken their time to develop their skill. Here we have a classic. I don't remember what's the pattern here. Is it the 71? I'm not sure. I think it's the 71. Anyways, a Sudbuster-like GEC. And then we got a Ben Belkin redesigning, interpreting a traditional into the modern era. And from when Ben started talking about this project that he had of Jack Wolf knives, I remember it back then with Bob, the Knife Junkie podcast, that we had different conversations there. That's where I got to know Ben and to learn from his project and how it came to be. But he was a collector well before the Jack Wolf came to be. So you see, there is background. There's baggage or luggage, as we say here. These people took their time, did their homework, and created the marvelous knives you see here. And that's a different story. And when we talk about customs, right? When we talk about customs, well, that's just another different story. Because from the custom makers I have talked to, I know, of course, they do this for as a business. But you know what? It has taken them, and especially many of them that forge their own knives, just a lot of love for what they do. And it hasn't been easy for them. And that's just, I believe, something that we must keep alive, we must respect, because it's not coming out of materialism, it's not coming out of just wanting money, you know? It's okay to try to get a job, to work, to be responsible, to earn an honest, earned money, working hard, doing your homework, right? Like something like this. Totally another thing like, what do you call these pages? It slipped my mind, but anyways, so it's very different from the perspective of a knife maker to the perspective of a YouTuber, to the perspective of the consumer, to the perspective of the industry. Fans only, you know, what the hell do they do? Just nothing, it's nothing. So in that sense, the market nowadays, as there is more competition out there, and China learned to make great knives. How can we deny a collaboration as such, right? Riyadh and Brian Nadeau. What a fantastic collaboration, so well executed, just a beautiful, beautiful knife, folder. Right? Also, Philippe Georget and Custom Knife Factory. I don't know if this was in the era where Custom Knife Factory started working as well with China, with Riyadh. Taichung, Taiwan. It's China, so, you know. Anyways, we're not gonna go to politics there. But it is what it is, period. So, is it wrong? Of course it's not wrong. It's just how the cookie crumbles, how the world is. I expose these ideas so that we can make our own minds and step out of that influential zone of the darn influencers. Now, YouTuber is not equal to influencer. It's just, I want to make that difference. Also, there's an explanation from a writer, Walter Benjamin, and in an essay about art and about aesthetics, he mentions something that is like the sparkle, like the numen or aura, the aura of a piece of art, that it's like a halo of life, a spark of life that certain art pieces have. And exactly that is what separates a generic knife from one that has a little bit more, that has different kind of spark, right? So, but in that sense, let's not get lost in this sea of generic knives. Yes, if we're just going to use them, if they're just going to be users, period, there's nothing wrong there. They're all great knives nowadays. But I do tend to fight over empty or negative influences. So in that sense, and also another thing is, I've heard a few of these tubers bitch about China or overseas made knives and to just buy USA. To each their own. I look for quality, I look for creativity in a knife. I look for a good translation, a good interpretation, modern interpretation. I look for details. I look for many things. But it doesn't matter if it's Chinese, if it's from the US, if it's Russian, if it's French or Spanish. I love knives, period. But for those people who only focus on, okay, so I'm just going to buy made in Mexico. And that's okay also. Perfect, no problem. But when you hear someone say, just buy USA made, or I just prefer USA made, and then they get the opportunity to sell themselves to a Chinese company. Now, that really doesn't make sense, does it? To make a quarter, $1 there? I'm not about to prostitute myself. If that was my case. Now, like I said, if you're open to, you love knives, so you love knives from the Middle East, from Japan, from Eastern Europe, whatever, then that's a different story. But be careful what you say, because I should be careful, right? I'm going to be crucified from what I'm saying. It is what it is. It's just a point of view, and it's something that I like to think about, that I read about. And there is a story from another writer, which I don't remember the name, but this was back in when the Second World War, and he was in a family reunion with family and friends at the reunion, and they were all talking about this national socialism, and everyone was talking positively about it, and he was amazed at how they were talking positively about it, and until he spoke up and said, how could you be saying this? How could you not notice what is happening? And started giving his point of view. And one of the family members responds to him something like, you have qualities, you have potential. We have ourselves. We have the pack. So, the pack of people, I mean. So, this is something that we keep on seeing over and over and over in different areas. So in that sense, that is why the BLADE-OSOPHY Sunday. Because what I try to expose or not expose, but present to my followers are ideas from people that I study from, that might help us evolve as the couple of people I have mentioned, as many other people have evolved from what we can see here. There are more elaborate designs from Brad Sinker. I just saw the other day a collaboration between Philippe Georget and Tashi Barucha. And what a gorgeous, gorgeous knife. And that is just outstanding. So, generic, unique, custom, collaborations, it's all respectable, right? But I think we must learn to have a deeper observation of things, to be careful of those influencers. How are they influencing our lives? In a positive, constructive way that makes us mature, that makes us evolve. And I've always mentioned this. It's not the same to listen to Eminem or Metallica, and I like both of them. But to develop your ear in order to be able to listen to an orchestra, to listen into an aria of opera, it's just not the same. And that's what good taste means. To be able to understand a painting, to feel a painting, and not just go with what's hot in the moment. I forgot the term. But to be able to appreciate from our own perspective. And that's what a BLADE-OSOPHY is, and many of the videos. Based on ideas, on essays of people that are intelligent, way more intelligent than myself. And I just love these topics. Controversial, yes. But then again, that's how we learn to appreciate and to distinguish one thing from another. And again, what we see out there are great knives, are great folders for users. If we're going to use them in the garden, if we're going to use them as a secondary folder when we go camping or in construction work or whatever, it's okay. All of them are going to work. From the knife that costs $7 to the one that costs $700. So yeah, but are they worth it? That's up to you. And to your path to good taste, to your path, to your own evolution in your own story in the knife world. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know. Comment down below, leave a like. Professor EDC out.